A portion of this video is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. For more information about Sheath Underwear, visit the link in the description or wait till the end of this video to hear more from me. Some things change and some things don't. Donald Trump and his series of liars, his litany of liars, his cornucopia of spokespeople who are just abject disrespecters of the truth. Karoline Leavitt is absolutely no different. Yesterday, I've got a couple of different videos, maybe 3 videos today that I'm going to be covering some of the nonsense that took place at the White House press briefing. Yesterday was no different. It was chaos. It was lies. It was just an infusion of disgust onto the American people. And there was a moment where she was asked about this administration not adhering to court orders, disregarding the orders of a federal court judge related to these mass deportation flights. And we should probably just get to it. And then I'm going to go through, and Joshua Friedman, I believe he used to work for The Atlantic. He was in the courtroom transcribing what was taking place. And I want to go through to juxtapose the questions that the judge has, the orders that he gave, and what the White House is now saying, this liar. Let me tell you what the judge went through with the Department of Justice lawyers was nothing short of astounding, and he's not taking it. He's not going to just lay down and allow this administration to run roughshod as though they are in service to a king. You'll learn that in just a little bit. First, though, let me play this clip of Karoline Leavitt being asked a question about their disregarding. And there's a little cherry on top at the beginning. I wouldn't call it a Freudian slip, but it is an unfortunate thing to say when you are the representative and the spokesperson for the President of the United States, who also just happens to be a multi-time convicted felon.
We want to restore the Department of Justice to an institution that focuses on fighting law and order and crime and putting real criminals behind bars, not targeting Americans because of their religion or their political speech. We saw that under the previous administration, and it's unacceptable to this president.
And just to follow up really quickly on just Homan's comments from earlier, a few weeks ago in the Oval Office, the president said he will always abide by the courts. We heard what Tom Homan said earlier today. So I'm only asking just to be clear for the American people. It is the administration's belief that they will, that you feel like you are bound to comply by the judge's order?
Oh, Karoline, just taking an L for no reason. We want to restore the Department of Justice to an institution that focuses on fighting law and order. I don't think it was a Freudian slip. It is just an unfortunate happenstance when you talk for a living and, you say the wrong thing. Funny nonetheless. But that last part is really what struck me, is how quickly, because I cut the clip there because the next question just immediately starts from a different reporter. So her statement was, we are complying with the judge's orders, period. Point blank. End of the sentence. No further explanation whatsoever. They are complying. So let's see just how much they are complying. We have here a screen recording I'm going through on my Bluesky account at Dollemore, if you're into the Bluesky. By the way, as an aside, if you liked Twitter the way it used to be when it had utility, when there was actual value in what you could get from Twitter, whether it be following journalists or following artists or following activists, Bluesky is almost fully where Twitter was when it was valuable. Get on board with Bluesky if you enjoyed Twitter at its acme, at its pinnacle, at its apex of power. Bluesky is great, and I'm there as well at Dollemore. So this is Joshua J. Friedman. I believe he used to work for The Atlantic, and he was in the courtroom, and he went through and he did some transcribing of what was taking place. So he says here, Judge Boasberg says he doesn't intend to rule on the government's behavior today, just to do some fact-finding on whether they obeyed the court order. So judges, especially federal judges, should be sober-minded, dispassionate adjudicators of the law. He's not just going to fly off the handle and rule Donald Trump in contempt of court, even though I believe that's what he should do. I believe that's what they all should be doing. He's a little bit more metered in his approach. And that's probably a good thing for a federal judge. So down here, the top post will be what I'm reading from, so I don't have to highlight every single one. Boasberg, plaintiffs identify 2 flights. Are you saying there were more than 2? This is the U.S. means the U.S. attorney, the person representing the government and the DOJ, the United States. I'm not at liberty to say, also don't know. Boasberg, you don't have the information? The U.S. attorney. Okay, what's the basis for not disclosing to me? Boasberg, are you saying it's classified? Boasberg, why are you showing up today and not even having answers to why you can't disclose it? I mean, that's the purpose of the hearing today. Maybe the answers are classified, maybe they're not, maybe they shouldn't be heard by the public, but okay, to be heard by me. And then the U.S. the attorney says, I can't say. Boasberg, okay, how about we come back tomorrow and you provide me info in private? If it's classified, well, we can go to a classified facility. But if you're saying it's classified and you can't tell me, you have to make a showing that it's true. The government is trying right now to assert things before a federal court, sometimes under oath, sometimes not, that things are true. You need to provide evidence in a courtroom setting, and that is something they're not willing. The reason they're unable to do it is because then they will be in contempt for life. It'll be perjury on the part of an attorney representing the President of the United States or the position of the United States government, in this case, Donald Trump. Boasberg, can you provide it in writing tomorrow by noon what your position is on communicating this information to me? Yes, Your Honor, but we don't think it's necessary because we believe we complied with the written order. This is the other thing the Trump administration is trying to do, that the orders of a United States federal judge are different if it's spoken or written. It's like when you were a kid and you thought that you had to handshake if you made an agreement, that you entered into a verbal contract, that there had to be a handshake. That's not how it works. When a judge orders you, and it's on the record, whether it's written or verbal, you comply, especially if you are the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, as Donald Trump purported himself to be the other day when he did his stupid DOJ speech. Here's another one. Boasberg, let me tell you the questions I wish you to answer. And then these are from the other day. How many planes departed at any time on Saturday, at any time based on a proclamation? How many people in that category were on each plane? He wants to know the granular details. So when he gave his order, were the planes on the ground? If they were not, where were they in the air? He wants to know all the details. And the Trump administration is going to have to account for this, or it's very likely they'll be held in contempt of court. Criminal contempt of court. This is Lee Gellert from the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, for the plaintiffs. At this point, we would ask Your Honor to require the U.S. to provide sworn declarations or come to the court in person, since all factual assertions so far have only been made in briefs. And the judge says, yes, I will require, from this point forward, I think, the United States to provide sworn declarations. So they are under oath, and it will be perjury. It will be a crime to say false things. I would direct the court to page 42 of the transcript. The big issue is that this is a fast-moving case where there's a lot of operational, national security, etc. at stake. Oral statements are not injunctions. We do believe this is a good faith interpretation of the court's written order. Yeah. Oral statements are orders from the court. It goes on here. I will link to this entire thread, but I just wanted to give you a flavor for the fact that this judge is in this for the right reasons, and he's doing this maybe a little more slowly than I would prefer, but I think it's for the best because he is guarding against them trying. Well, they've already tried to remove this judge from the case. They want this in the hands of a MAGA loyalist, someone who is in the cult, who will do Donald Trump's bidding, like many members of the Supreme Court. But we're going to see. We're going to follow this. I'll tell you this. It is irritating to no end to a federal judge to have his orders, to have his questions just ignored, and have a lawyer for the Justice Department say, I can't tell you. and not say why you can't tell. I can't tell you because I don't know. I can't tell you because I'm not allowed to. I can't tell you because it's classified. I can't tell you because I've been ordered. What's the reason? This is not how a federal court operates. And I can tell you, a federal judge who has complete autonomy in that courtroom isn't having it either. I would throw this to you. You have any questions? Do you have any comments? You can leave them below. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me. Again, follow me on Bluesky. It is sometimes a good time. Always not like Twitter, so that's a good thing. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another. I talk nearly every day about how divided we are as a country and the havoc that this division wreaks. But not all divisions are bad, right? As a mathematical concept, for instance, division allows you to split things into equal parts, allowing for equal shares. Division of labor has, for thousands of years, allowed humans to evolve their efficiency and specialization when working on certain tasks. And you can ask any kid to tell you that dinner is far better when the meat is divided from the veg. And what's more annoying than when you're sitting at a cramped table or out in the humid weather than having your meat smashed into your two veg? Is the meat and veg metaphor working here? It's time to divide and conquer with Sheath. Sheath makes the most comfortable boxer briefs I have ever worn. Regular boxers are just too loose and bunchy and not great. And briefs are just a smush fest. Sheath are the solution. Head to Sheath.com and use promo code Dollemore to score 20% off and upgrade to the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear. I'm wearing a pair right now, and indeed, that may be all I'm wearing under the desk here. But really, sheaths are the only underwear I wear. Absolutely fact. Their testicular tech features dual pouches to keep your mane apart from your sides. More dinner metaphors. Note, if you're not into the division for some reason, you don't have to use the dual pouches at all. Just throw your sheaths on like regular pair of underwear and you're good to go. Also, Sheath's stretchy fabric is super soft and made with moisture-wicking technology to keep your president and his cabinet cool and comfortable throughout the rigors of the day. I love my sheaths all the time, but they are particularly clutch in the sticky heat of DC summers, which is basically like 9 months out of the year. They were invented by a U.S. Army veteran while serving a tour in Iraq. The idea for Sheath came from discomfort in harsh environments. As a former Marine stationed in that part of the world, I get the inspiration. The airflow meshes are my personal favorite, but Sheath has tons of excellent styles and designs. Pick a pair and Sheath will hand them to your doorstep nearly instantly thanks to blindingly fast shipping and amazing customer service. Also, Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders. So with your purchase, you're making the world a better place too. Upgrade your undergarments, score 20% off right now when you head to Sheath.com and use code Dollemore. Divide and conquer your discomfort with Sheath underwear.